This is Stockholm, the queen city of the Baltic and the capital of Sweden, where over 500,000 inhabitants participate in the diurnal round of life and trade. Stockholm enjoys the unique distinction of being a city without slums or beggars. It is built partly upon an archipelago of 13 islands and partly upon the mainland, with a navigable outlet to the Baltic Sea. Because of the innumerable skerries or waterways which separate the islands, much of the traffic is by boats, and consequently the city has also been called the Venice of the North. The charm of Stockholm's skyline is chiefly in the fact that the 16th and 20th centuries have been blended in it so harmoniously that it is difficult to determine where one ends and the other begins. Although an occasional squad of soldiers on parade may be seen mixed up with the traffic in the streets of the capital city, it is difficult for us to associate this peace-loving country with militarism, for there has not been a war here in over a century, and it is not likely that there ever will be, for neutrality and peace are fundamental principles in Swedish government. Most of the tram cars carry mailboxes, and insofar as the central post office is near the terminus of the tram cars, this has proven to be an efficient as well as a novel idea. Cooperative houses have become the vogue in Sweden, and Stockholm naturally leads in the construction of these huge dwellings, wherein hundreds of families are living upon a cooperative basis. That is to say, among other things, they are members of clubs or cooperative stores, where as a result of their combined purchasing power, the prices on household necessities have been greatly reduced. Then, too, the profits of the cooperative stores are shared by the members. Needless to say, these houses are all equipped with modern improvements, and electricity is the dominant factor throughout. As a matter of fact, Sweden is probably the most electrified country in the world, for there is hardly a residence, even in the most remote parts of the realm, that is not equipped with electric lights and telephone. In addition to the modern cooperative idea, there is in Sweden a very strong family individuality, which asserts itself in the private homes and serves to maintain a sane balance between the socialists and the capitalists. Incidentally, all of the girls in Sweden are not blondes, and here we purposely introduce two attractive brunettes just to prove our point. Among Stockholm's modern architectural achievements are the Engelbrekt Church, named after a Swedish patriot who was assassinated several centuries ago, and the world-famous Town Hall, completed in 1922 at a cost of over $10 million. This monumental edifice, with its magnificently furnished interiors and its numerous architectural innovations, is considered to be the most artistic modern building in Europe. When a city is built upon a group of islands, it is only natural that boats should play an important part in its existence. And consequently, this Venice of the North is noted for the colorful variety of boats which may be seen along its numerous waterways. One of the ideal things to do when visiting Stockholm is to take a boat ride around the islands and then stop off for a meal at one of the many fine restaurants along the way. At Bellman's Row, the musicians are dressed in the costumes that were worn in the time of Bellman, the immortal Swedish poet, whose songs and music are one of the many features of this famous restaurant. Here we find a typical example of the world-famous Swedish smorgasbord, where one may help himself to the greatest variety of hors d'oeuvre ever concocted in the annals of good food. And this is only supposed to be an appetizer, after which, to the strains of Bellman's music, we may settle down to some serious eating, which often consists of from 8 to 10 courses, balanced with a variety of choice beverages, including the famous Swedish punch. Incidentally, the Swedish people are noted for their innate love of flowers, and no matter where one goes in Sweden, he will find a flower girl with a basket of colorful varieties, which no visitor can resist, especially when he falls under the spell of the typical blonde salesmanship which usually associates itself with the flowers. Not far from Bellman's Row is the Skansen Bear Pit, where one may see fine specimens of bears which are indigenous of Scandinavia. One of the most popular sports in Sweden is sailboat racing, and there is hardly a week in the season that one may not have the pleasure of seeing sights like this. Now the time of our visit is drawing to a close, and as the midnight sun lingers on the skyline of the city, marking the end of a long and joyous day, we most reluctantly say farewell to Stockholm, Venice of the North, Queen of the Baltic, and the pride of Sweden.